Hey there, seniors. It's good to see you guys. I'm glad that you all were able to join us today for this informational session. I hope that you are getting some good information. Really miss you guys so much. I'm excited, though, to get to see you again in the near future, whenever that's going to be, but I have confidence that we're going to get to see you here really soon. Make sure you're paying close attention. You've got the best AP and the best counselor. I wish I had I wish I had Ms. Beaumont and Ms. Poor for a counselor when I was a student here at Central High School. So please pay close attention and listen up for what they have to share with you, all right? And thank you, Dr. Bumpus, for running point on today's meeting.
Hey guys, I'm Miss Beaumont. I am your assistant principal this year for the class of 2021. We know that things have already started out differently, but hopefully we'll be able to get back to school soon so that we can get back to what's normal for us. The next slide that you see is just a list of the administrators. So you see that I have 12th grade and then freshman last names O through Z. Miss Britt, who is new to us, she took Dr. Major's place. She's new to us this year. She has 11th grade and freshman G through N. Mr. Founder has the 10th graders and the freshmen A through F. We have Miss Edwards, who's going to be over testing in all of your AP courses. We have Miss Poor with us, who you all had her last year, so she's looping up with you this year, and she'll be your 12th grade counselor. She also has freshmen O through Z. Mr. Robertson, 11th, freshman G through N. Miss Brown, 10th grade, freshman A through F. We have a new athletic director, who is Miss Pitts. She replaced Mr. Bringhurst. And then we have Dr. King, who is also on the call with us, and she is still the magnet coordinator with us. Here are a few of our very important people here at Central High School. Dr. Bumpus is the instructional coach. She's on here and she is amazing. Dr. Bumpus, okay, she says hi. We have Mrs. Mack, who's our Frisky, and then once we come back to school, she'll help you with your student IDs. We have Miss Jones, who's our mental health practitioner. She is still offering services, so if you ever need anything, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself, Miss Poor. We can get you hooked up with Miss Jones. We have Miss Starks, records clerk. So this is very important because we don't know when we're going to go back to school. If you change address, if you change phone number, you need to make sure that you let Miss Starks know so that she can get all of that information changed in Infinite Campus. Ms. Bradford will be working closely with Ms. Poor. She'll go over a few things that you need her for. We have Mr. Yan. Mr. Yan is the attendance clerk. Mr. Yan is important because if for some reason you miss school, you need to let him know so that he can get you in for an excused absence or something of that sort. We have Ms. Thomas, who's in the front office. Mr. McCracken and Mr. Jenkins are the school security, and we have Ms. Lane, who is our school librarian. Your 12th grade class sponsors are still Ms. Dennis and Mrs. Hutchison.
So guys, I know a lot of you have already been reaching out to me since last spring and over the summer and up through this year, but just in case you need to know how to get in touch with me, and just so you all know, we're going to share this whole PowerPoint to the Google Classroom. But you can feel free to jot this down or take a picture of your screen or whatever, but you can text me or call me at 502-822-6238, or you can email me at my school email. So those are the best ways to get in touch with me right now.
So this information, like she said, we'll be posting it, but this is the best way to reach Ms. Beaumont. I keep my email on all the time, which may or may not be a good habit, but I do. So that's probably the quickest way you can reach me, but you can also text that number 483-2823 and I'll respond back to you as well.
So if you all have not heard yet, Central has a new website. For those of you who are familiar with Mr. Terry, he created a new website for us and it looks really, really good. So we've got the link there for our new website. I'm going to be trying to use this as much as possible so that I know it can be hard with Google Classroom. Like I post a lot of important stuff and it's hard to keep track of like, okay, now which thread was it on? I can't remember. When did you post it? So we're going to try to put a lot of the important stuff on this new website. Bear with us because it is sort of a work in progress. So it's still a little bit under construction, but just check that. And I'll get to the scholarships a little bit later in this presentation, but that's something that I'll also be posting on the website is the scholarships. Dr. Bumpus, did you want to talk about the other site or are we good?
I'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay. Can you go back one? Forward one now. Somehow we're missing the slide with the important dates. There we go. There we go. Okay. Y'all bear with us, man. This NTI stuff is hard for all of us, so we're doing our best. Okay, some important dates. We're going to have senior night on September the 15th at 6 o'clock. That's going to be virtual. That's going to be for you and your parents. It is very, 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 very important that you attend. So we will be sending out some more information. We're not sure of the platform that we're going to use, but it will be virtual. So we'll be sending more information out once we have those details. But please, please, please mark your calendars for September 15th at 6 p.m. and let your parents know as well. We're going to do this virtually, but if we're able to do something like Google Meet or Zoom, it's going to be really important that you, if at all possible, your household is only logged in on one device. So like if your mom and you and your dad are all going to attend, if at all possible, if you all can all be on the same device, that would be great because we're limited to the number of participants we can have. So we'd prefer not to have, use up 3 participant spots just for one student's household. So I know it can't always happen. So if it can't, it's okay. But if at all possible, we'd like for you to do that. Just an FYI, we have parent-teacher conferences on the 5th, and then we're going to be having a FAFSA night. FAFSA is the federal application for financial student aid, and that is something that you all will be filling out to get assistance, financial assistance for college. Steve is our Kia rep, and he's going to walk you through all of that. I know you guys are really, really anxious and have been doing a lot of stuff on your own, but I'm going to ask that, first of all, FAFSA does not open up for your class until October the 1st. So if you filled out the FAFSA, you filled it out for this current school year, not for the school year when you're going to be going to college. But we're going to ask that you just hold off on doing anything with FAFSA until we have that FAFSA night, because you're going to learn everything you need to know about FAFSA that night. So rather than to risk messing it up, just hold tight on that. All right, I'm going to try to go through this quickly because a lot of this you guys know. But so this is the graduation credits or the graduation requirements as far as credits go. I told you guys at orientation, you have to have 22 credits. It's 22 of the right credits. Well, if you look on this slide, these are the right credits. One thing that people have contacted me about since schedules came out is, I'm in creative writing. So can I come out, and English 4. So can I come out of one of those since I only have to have 4 Englishes? You have to have English 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're taking the AP classes, that will obviously count towards that graduation requirement, or if you're taking the dual credit, that will obviously count. But any English electives that you are taking are simply that, they are electives. So everybody has to take English 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you have to take English all 4 years of high school, every year of high school. So at your all stage, you're senior, so it doesn't matter. But a lot of times kids will be like, well, can I take English 4 when I'm a junior to get ahead? But it doesn't really matter because you have to take English all 4 years regardless. You have to have 4 credits of math, including 1 taken your senior year. So again, math and English, you all have to take both of those your senior year. You need to have Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, and 1 additional math. So that could look different for everybody. Some of you guys, if you weren't with us freshman year and you took pre-algebra, then you would do pre-algebra, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. But if you started with us and you did Algebra 1, Geometry, and then Algebra 2, this year you'll take a math class outside of Algebra 2. Financial literacy for math credit, that's just the name of the class. It doesn't count as a math credit for graduation, unfortunately. You have to have your 3 sciences, your 3 social studies, your PE and health. Humanities, this is another one I get a lot of questions about. There are 2 options for fulfilling this credit. You can either take the humanities class, which is half a survey, or you have to do 3 years of the same performing arts class. So that would be 3 years of, let's say, band, or 3 years of art, or 3 years of choir. Unfortunately, and I don't know the reason for this, if you took a year of choir, a year of art, and a year of band, even though that's 3 years, for whatever reason, that it does not count. It has to be 3 years of the same. So if anybody's confused about why they have put on their schedule or anything about the humanities credit, that's why, because it's got to be 3 years of the same. And then additional credits, you have to have 7 credits, which includes world language, your magnet classes, and your electives. In addition to credits, you also have to have these additional requirements. You have to take the civics exam, and you have to pass with a 60% or higher. You have to complete your individual learning plan, which you've done that since you were in the 6th grade, but you have to do that every year. You have to have the technology requirement. That can be obtained in a couple of different ways. One is through a computer course, if you took like digital literacy or something like that. They are allowing senior backpack defense to count as fulfilling the technology requirement, because you have to use technology for your backpack defense. Or there's a test you guys took in middle school, the 21st Century Skills Assessment. So if you passed that in middle school, then you've got that requirement that way. And then, of course, you have to do the backpack of success skills defense, the boss defense, which Dr. Bumpus will talk about in just a little bit. Okay, so I've talked a lot about this. I'm really excited for you guys because you guys have been like super, super excited about applying for college, which is awesome. But this is a little early for what I'm used to with students, because usually about this time, students are just kind of getting back into school, and then we start talking about applying for college, and then we do all this. But you guys, I know it's because you've been cooped up at home and haven't been here, and you guys are excited about the next step, and I get it. So I'm proud of you all for that. But as a result, I haven't been able to get all the information out that I wanted to in the time frame. So I'm just kind of doing the best I can. I have put in Google Classroom, and it's on this slideshow, the instructions for ordering a transcript for Parchment. This is the best way to order a transcript. It is the most efficient. It is what the colleges prefer. It's much easier, and it's going to be the colleges are going to get it in a much more timely fashion than if you were to just email me and say, hey, can you send my transcript to so-and-so? That's going to take a little bit of time. So this is the most efficient way to do it. You can also order a transcript for yourself, just so you can see what your transcript looks like. You don't have to pay for these transcripts. When I say order, I just mean you have to use this platform to request them, but it's not something that you have to pay for when you're in high school. So make sure to check out those instructions if you're applying to colleges and you need your transcript sent. Wanted to give you guys a couple updates that I just got in the past couple of days, so I figured I might as well just talk about them in this meeting. So UK and U of L are both test optional for the fall of 2021. And what that means is that when you apply, you can submit your ACT scores or SAT scores, but you don't have to. So that's a really big deal, because it used to be that you had to submit both, and there would be a minimum GPA that you had to have and a minimum ACT or SAT score. But because your particular class hasn't had as many options for retaking ACT because of the pandemic and all this testing was canceled, they recognize that and they're making it test optional. So if you have a really good ACT score or SAT score and you're like, well, I want the colleges to know about my ACT score or SAT score, then that is totally fine. And absolutely go ahead and submit your scores. But if you've got a score that you're kind of like, I don't love my score, you don't have to submit it. So that's awesome that UK and U of L are both doing that. Western Kentucky started doing it before the pandemic, and other schools might start to do it more. So if I find out more schools are doing it, I will let you know. But I just found out that UK was doing it just this week. I also put some links on here for some, U of L has having some virtual academic information sessions that you can sign up to attend. So I encourage you, if you're interested in going to U of L, I encourage you to check out that link. Our admissions counselor from UK is named Logan. She's very nice. She's willing to meet individually with students, and you can sign up to do that using that link there that says virtual meetings with admissions counselor. And then if you want to do virtual visits for UK, I've got the link there for that.
Ms. Poore, I'm going to ask you a few questions from the chat.
Sure.
Can you elaborate on the civics test?
I can, but I may default to Miss Beaumont on that one because she's the civics test guru.
Yes. So what will happen, and we just received word on how we will administer the civics test over virtual, so during NTI. So I will be in touch with you, either myself or Ms. Niehoff will be in touch with those of you who have not passed. So if you do not hear from us, then you already have that requirement. If you remember, the civics test was a 100 question test and you had to get 60 out of the 100 correct. It is now in an online platform. So I will be contacting you if you have not passed. If you are in a social studies class, and that could come from your social studies teacher, but I will be the one letting you know if you have not passed.
Ms. Poore, can you talk about the application fee waiver?
I actually just responded to that in the YouTube chat. I am going to get to that in just a few minutes, as well as ACT. So these are great questions, though, you guys, because these are things that we were going to talk about. So
perfect.
Another thing that I have also put again in your Google Classroom is information on scholarships. So what we usually do when we're in school is we will have a binder up here full of all of the scholarships that we come across our desks, and students can come look at it at any time. But since we're not in person, we have like a virtual place where you all can go if you want scholarships. So as scholarships come to us, we're going to be updating this document. So a lot of you guys have reached out to me about scholarships. This is a document that you want to check regularly, because today it may have, scholarships that, that you've already seen, but tomorrow it could be updated because we're going to be updating it as we go. So just make sure that you're checking that. This is certainly not going to be like an exhaustive list of scholarships that are available. So continue to look for scholarships on your own, but we want to try to provide you with as many resources as we possibly can for scholarships. Okay, so to the college application fee waiver question. So if you qualify for free or reduced lunch, then you also qualify for a college application fee waiver. You may not know this, or some of you may have just discovered this as you started applying for colleges, that colleges will charge an admission fee, and sometimes it's like $50. And so, which is a lot of money. And especially if you apply for more than one college, then you're looking at, $150, $200. So you can get an application fee waiver from Miss Bradford. I've included her email on this slide. And when you contact her, you'll just need to let her know which that you need a college application fee waiver and ask and which school. So if you know for sure, like I'm going to apply to U of K, I'm going to apply to U of L, I'm going to apply to Western Kentucky University, and I'm going to apply to K-State, then you can send her an email that says, I need a fee waiver, and list out the colleges that you are going to apply. Now, what she'll do then is she will give you the fee waiver. You have to fill out part of it and then sign it and send it back. If you have a smartphone, you can use what's called, there's an app called Cam Scanner that you can use to scan something and send it back. If you don't have access to a printer, so if she sends it to you and you're like, well, I can't sign this because I don't have a printer. If you don't have access to a printer, you just need to let her know that in the email, because then she can mail you a physical, like she can mail you the paper copy. And then again, you can scan it once you've signed it and send it back to her, okay? If you have questions about that, then you can ask Miss Bradford. She has been doing this for a while, so she knows what she's doing. We're just trying to figure out how to do it virtually. And this is, we're doing the best we can with that. She also has ACT fee waivers. If you all don't know, if you're eligible for your reduced lunch, you can use up to 2 ACT fee waivers. That's 2 total in your high school career, and that's only junior and senior year. So if you used a fee waiver last year, then you've got 1 left. If you did not use a fee waiver last year, then you have 2 left for your senior year, okay? So we all took ACT in March. That was free. You didn't have to pay for it. You didn't have to use a fee waiver for it because everybody got to take that for free. But if you qualify for free and really reduced lunch, you've still got 2 more options to take it for free. So I encourage you to take advantage of that opportunity, or even if you don't have a fee waiver, if you're able to afford to pay to retake the test, if you want to improve your ACT score, I would definitely recommend you to do that. I've had some questions from people about, I'm going to retake ACT. So do you think I should go ahead and apply for colleges, or do you think I should wait? Right now, the application deadline for schools, most of them is December or even February, depending on what you're trying to do. So you have time. So there's no need to rush and feel like I've got to get my application in right now if you feel like you're going to improve your ACT score. So you can go ahead and start on the online applications. You can go back to them and you can save them and go back. So, I encourage you to start, but you can wait and not apply until after you've taken ACT again. So that's about ACT. If you want to register for ACT, you need to go to actstudent.org. Now, something that's really important that some of you guys have already figured out. If you took ACT in March, and that's the only time you've ever taken ACT, you're going to need to create a new account on actstudent.org. It's confusing because it asks you if you've ever taken ACT before. And so this happens every year with seniors. Seniors are like, yeah, I took it last year. I took it in March, which is true. But what you took was the state ACT, not the national ACT. It's the same test, but it's just the administration is different. So if the only time you've ever taken ACT is when we took it at school in March, then you'll need to create a new account when you go to register for ACT. If you're on that fee waiver, it's going to ask you for a fee waiver number, and that's what you're going to get from Ms. Bradford.
This is me, guys. So the student handbook is digital this year. It will be placed on the website. It's very similar to what we had last year. There's quite a few things that you'll recognize. And there's a couple of things that when we come back to school, we'll remind you of those rules once you come back. But I just wanted you to have a copy of the student handbook, the school calendar, and the semester schedule. So right now, you know that we're going 6 weeks at a time for NTI. They are reevaluating every 6 weeks to see if we're going to continue with NTI. We do not know. This first 6 weeks is over on the 8th of October. So we'll just continue to keep you all posted on that. Remember, for NTI, we're alternating AB, AB, AB. The first 5-day week is coming up, not next week, but the week after. So you will have another asynchronous day. Please make sure that you are attending your classes right now during NTI and you are staying on top of your work. As Ms. Poor said, you will need to make sure that your grades are staying up. One thing that I want to bring your attention to that is different this year is that your English credit, so for the past 3 years, your English credit has been 1 full credit. This year, it is half credits. So you will get a half credit after first semester, and you will get a half credit after second semester. So it's not year long anymore. Remember, it used to be where you had your grade and it piled up from August all the way to May. Now it goes from August, the last day of the semester is the 15th of January, and then it'll pick back up and it will go through the end of the school year. So you really need to make sure that you know that and that you're getting both parts. You cannot slack and then try to wait till the end to pick it back up. This is just something that we always go over. Really, right now is probably we're probably more focused on cyberbullying, but just make sure that you're following the rules and that you're just being kind to each other. Everything is online now, and I know there's way more social media platforms that you all are on, but please just make sure that you are being respectful and treating others how you would want to be treated. Class officers. So the class officer election begins today. It will end Monday at midnight. The link is posted in our Google Classroom for you to be able to vote. Okay, so you need to get on there and vote if you want your voice heard. Speaking of voting, I will also be sending out a link to all of you that will be 18 by the cutoff date for voting so that you can register to vote. If you need help with that, we'll also be offering an event for that as well.
Oh, hi, everybody. You all already were talking about in the chat quite a bit about the backpack of success skills. It's no big deal. It's going to be so easy to do. I'm here for you. I love to help people practice and get ready, so I'll be here for you. In the chat, you all talked a lot about how hard it would be to do it virtually. And we did that. Over half of the kids last year did it either online or recorded it. So don't worry, we've got that all figured out for you. We don't plan to start them until January. So we'll give you more information about how to sign up then, but you can go ahead and get started. Just keep uploading your stuff to your backpack, just like you've done the last 2 years. Even NTI stuff can go in there. We have a website. If you go to jcps.me/jackets, there's all kinds of information about the backpack. Sometimes we use that for other stuff like enrolling for classes, or we've used it for MAP in the past. So it's just a good place for students to get information. On there, you already have a rubric for the backpack defense, so you'll want to look at that as you plan it out. There's also a template if you want to go ahead and use that to create yours. There are videos of different backpack stuff, including a sample defense that you can watch. And like I said, if you need any help, you can always email me. We can meet virtually. It's going to be great. Y'all are going to love doing it, and you'll be so happy when it's done.
I'll go ahead and talk and not play the video. Hello, seniors. Congratulations to making it to your senior year. Of course, you know who I am, Dr. King. I'm going to talk to you about transition readiness. I've also spoken with you about this during orientation, but just to reiterate to you, there are two types of readiness within the transition readiness umbrella, and those can be determined by the indicators on the chart. You have academic readiness, and you have section A and section B. So you have to meet or exceed the benchmarks that are labeled here in the different categories. And you can meet or exceed a combination of those to be academic ready. So for example, if you take the ACT and you meet or exceed the benchmark in English and or math, then you have met academic transition readiness. Or for example, maybe you have college credit in English for dual credit and you have 3 hours of a C or higher in English, but then you met the ACT benchmark for math, then you have met transition readiness academically. And then you have career readiness. And there are 5 measures to meet career readiness. You can pass your end of program assessment or earn an industry certification. Many of you have already met this career readiness through your magnet, and maybe some of you have met the benchmarks on ACT and met it academically. But you can also, in your magnet classes, get 6 credit hours of CTE dual credit to meet the career readiness and approved exceptional work experience, or a KD approved apprenticeship. And so the 2 areas of transition readiness are academic and career, and you will hear more about this. And as I stated, some of you are already have a leg up on this because you have already met those benchmarks. So congratulations to you all. And to those of you who have not met the benchmarks at this time, we will be working very closely with you to ensure that you do. Thank you.
Dr. King, can you tell us the percentage of this class for transition readiness?
Yeah, well, I do know for at career readiness, I think it's about 26%. However, it's a little higher than that based upon a conversation earlier, because some of you all have met the academic readiness. So I think it's at about 35%.
That's awesome, you all.
Yes. So that's great.
Awesome.
Well, guys, that's all that we have for you today. I know that was a lot of information. We are going to, Dr. Bumpus is going to place this recording on our Google Classroom. It will have our numbers. I think Ms. Poore might be typing the numbers in right now. Someone asked for our phone numbers. And please don't hesitate to reach out. We are here for you all. We will have more meetings like this as more information comes. But remember, senior night is September 15th. So make sure you join us that night as well.
Did we miss any important questions in the chat, Dr. Bumpus or Ms. Bowman? I am putting the phone numbers in there right now. Decorin asked, will the ACT be virtual due to the pandemic? I don't know. I wish that I had an answer to
I
that.
can speak on that. So
Okay.
yesterday, in a principal and AP meeting, they told us that JCPS is going to be able to offer it in October in person, but we are not sure what schools will offer it. Schools will have to say if they would like to offer it or not. So we do not know which schools, but places are starting to offer the ACT. So just make sure that you're checking the website to see locations that are available. Also make sure that you note that they added dates. Okay, so I think there's a couple dates in each month. So make sure that you're checking for that as well.
I'm seeing a question from Lynn about dual credit classes. Yes, you can take dual credit classes. I'm not exactly sure 100% what you're referring to, if you mean like dual credit classes that we have here at Central. So if you have other questions about that, Lynn, you can either clarify in the chat, or you can send me an email or send me a text if you have other questions.
Ms. Beaumont, there are a couple of questions about preparing for the civic exam, and if they're in AP, how are they going to be prepared? Do you have any advice about that?
Yes, I just answered. The answer is that we just received the details yesterday, so I have not even had time to sort through them and put together a plan. But as soon as we have that plan, I will let you know. And I know that we are going to be allowed to take it virtually, but we will make plans, we will prepare, and we will ensure that you have everything you need to pass that course, or pass that test, I'm sorry.
Okay, and I think we're going to put the video and the slideshow in the Google Classroom, and it's going to have lots of links, so you all will feel better and have access to all that. So Ms. Beaumont, why don't you give us a departure pump up message so people aren't overwhelmed?
Like I said before, we're here for you all. We will walk you through everything that you need. The four of us work very closely together, so you can always reach out to any of the four of us. You have Dr. King with Transition Readiness. You have Dr. Bumpus on here with the backpack. Ms. Poor can help you with all of your scheduling needs. I kind of just help out where I can, but do not focus. Your focus right now needs to be on yourself and on school. So make sure that you're really focusing on that and making sure that you're in order with that. And we hope to see you all in person very, very soon.
We miss you all so much.
We miss you all.
So much.
You all have no idea how much we miss you.
I know. We really do. But you guys are awesome. Miss Beaumont,